Hi, I'm doing a step-by-step guide on how to install LineageOS on your Android device. I will start by saying that I am not an expert, and everything I'm showing you I basically found on the LineageOS Project website. I'm using my Nexus 5 to do the installation, and for my computer I have a Linux distribution, Fedora 27. But the steps should be very similar, whether you're using Mac or Windows. It's pretty much the same. So concretely, what do we need to do to install LineageOS? So first of all, we need to confirm that your device is supported by LineageOS, and there's a list that I'm going to show you. We need to set up ADB in your computer, and this is basically the tool that's going to make the communication between the phone and your computer. We need to enable USB debugging on the device, and that's very simple. Then we're going to need to unlock the bootloader so we can flash a new ROM into your device, and I'll tell you a bit more about that. Finally, we need to install a custom recovery, which is allowing you to go into recovery mode and be able to flash the phone. And then we need to install LineageOS. I'm not ready to go Google free yet, so I'm going to be installing Google Apps on top of LineageOS, but like I mentioned before, you don't need to. So first of all, let's confirm that your device is supported. How we do that? Very simple. Let's go to the LineageOS Project website first. So just open a browser and let's go LineageOS, and you go to the website. You want to go to their wiki page. From their wiki page, right at the top, you'll find a list of supported devices. You want to click on it, and here you have all the phone manufacturers. Look for yours. In my case, I have a Google phone. Even though it's made by LG, it's listed here as Google, and it's a Google 5. So that's my phone. Then right down here you get the how to install LineageOS on Google Nexus 5, and we'll just follow it step by step. So really easy. That's how you know whether your device is installed or not. Step number 2, let's set up ADB in your computer, and that's just really an Android debug bridge that's gonna be doing the communication. It's a very powerful tool actually. We're just gonna use some of the functions. It's very easy. Again, the instructions are on the website. We're gonna download and then extract the zip file on the computer, and then we're gonna set up a path variable for ADB, and that just means that once you open your terminal or your command line, you can just type the program ADB and you'll find it, you'll know where it is, instead of having to specify the full path to that program. All these instructions can be found if you just follow the link for setting up ADB. You have it here with a little description. Now, if you have a Windows computer, you follow steps. If you have a Mac or a Linux, you can see that the steps are very similar. So I'm going to show you on my Linux machine. So first of all, you want to be downloading this and saving it. Let me show you here. I've just downloaded it, and you need to extract it. And I've already extracted it to a folder here on my home directory under programs. So you see right here, and it's been extracted. So just go ahead and do that. Cool. So you want to add the path to the folder where you just extracted all the files to your user profile. Which means that when you use the ADB command on your machine, it knows exactly where to go to find the files. So the one modification from the instructions listed on the LineageOS page is that they suggest you add the path directory to the .profile file. Because I'm using Fedora 27, we don't have that file by default. If you create it, you'll find it and you'll use it, but it actually prefers to use something else that I'm going to show you. If I list everything in my home directory, I don't have a .profile because the Fedora 27 system, it prefers to install all the user profile paths on bash profile. So let's look into that file. So if I go, I'm gonna use nano. And in fact, right here, right inside the bash profile, it tells you if you have a bash RC, then use that. Then I go, okay, let's go look into that then. Dash RC, and that's where I've listed my home path for the folder where I extracted all the files. So you basically just want to open either profile or bash RC, and you want to paste it in there, and it's that simple. Cool. So I'm not gonna modify anything, but if you did, that's where you would want to put it. So that's it. You just you do that, and then you want to log out of your computer and log back in. I'm not gonna do that because I'll lose my OBS settings. And step number 5, it suggests that you might want to set up UDEV rules. I didn't do that. I would have done. I try to keep it to. I try to keep it as simple as possible, and I'll install things if I need to. So I haven't needed to. Awesome. Next, we're gonna enable USB debugging mode. What does that mean? Very simply, we'll go into the settings in the About section. We're gonna press on build number 7 times. So let's do that. So right here, all the way to the bottom, into About, all the way to the bottom again, where you see build number, you want to tap that 7 times. So I've already done it, which means I don't need to do it again, but you get a notification when you are 1 tap away and you tap it again. That's great. So the next step is you want to check Android debugging on your settings. So I'm going to show you. You just go back once, and now you're going to have a developer options right here on above About Phone. When you get here under debugging, you have a little knob to enable. So you want to enable debugging mode and say yes, let's do that. Great. So now it's enabled. You can go back. So here you will see that the USB cable is connected and debugging mode is on, which is exactly what you want. You want to plug in the cable, which I've already done, and then on your terminal you want to type ADB devices. Let me show you what we mean. So right here, ADB devices, and you get a list of the devices. So that's mine, so you know it's working, and that's great. That's pretty much all you want. If it's the first time you're connecting in the USB debugging mode, you want to make sure that when you get a notification, you say always allow USB debugging, and you should only do that once until you flash your phone, which is great. Alright, so let's continue with the installation. So we are done setting up ADB. We can go back to the main installation page for your device. Alright, and so at this point we need to unlock the bootloader. One thing that's important to note is that if you do that, you're going to erase all your data. So make sure that you back up all the data that's important to you. And you just need to unlock the bootloader because when it's locked, it prevents you from overwriting the recovery image. And you can't install any kernels that have not been signed with the manufacturer key. So that's why we need to do it. Alright, so on the terminal you want to type ADB reboot bootloader. So let's go do that. ADB reboot bootloader. And you see that rebooted my device and put it into the fast boot mode, which is basically like a recovery mode for your computer. Cool. You could have also done this. You here have an alternative option. So instead of typing that, you could have gone device power off, hold the volume down, plus the volume up, and press power. So we're not going to do that. Once you're in fast boot mode, you want to type fastboot devices. So let's go and do that. And you want to make sure that it lists a device. Oh right, I made a typo. There we go. No permission. Okay, so I don't have permission because I need to run this as root. So I'm gonna go ahead and log in as root. Fastboot devices. Alright, so it found my device under fastboot. That's great. That means I can continue ahead and type the next set of instructions. I can go and finally do the unlock command, fastboot OEM unlock. So fastboot OEM unlock. And remember, this will erase all your data. Right, so my device is already unlocked, so I don't need to do that. But hopefully you would have had a positive message, and you would see here at the bottom of my phone it says lock state unlocked. So your device would probably boot, and if it doesn't boot, you have to reboot it, and you have to go back and allow the USB debugging, just like we mentioned before. And so you would have been all the way to this instruction over here. Cool. So if your device reboots properly, make sure to go ahead and reset, re-enable USB debugging. Great. Cool. So next we're gonna install a custom recovery on your phone. So you might be wondering, what the hell is that? It's a tool. It's a dedicated bootable partition that your phone goes into. It's like going into recovery mode in your phone, and from there you can do things like back up your phone or install a new room or a new image onto your phone. And so you first go ahead and you download the image that you're gonna want to put in your phone. So from, once again, the LineageOS website, you can go over here, and it's Team Ween who is developing it, and there are many versions of it, at least for my phone. I'm gonna choose the latest one, and you download it. You can also verify the signature using the PGP signature that they provide here. I've already downloaded it, so I'm not gonna do it again. But quite simply, you just want to put it in your download folder. So that's where I'm gonna go now. So next, you want to connect your device to your computer, and I'm gonna do that right now. And you want to use you want to reboot into the bootloader. So once into the bootloader, you want to verify that the connections are working. So on your terminal, you want to go fastboot devices, and again, I don't have permission, so I need to go into root. So one second. So now that I'm in root, I'm actually going to navigate to the download folder. Alright, and there you can see the image is being downloaded. It's right there. Great. So let's do like I mentioned, and verify that my computer can connect to the device. So fastboot devices, and it found my device over here with its ID in fastboot. That's great. Cool. So what's next? So next, we want to flash the recovery image that we downloaded into the device, and we're gonna do that using the terminal via a command. So here we go. we just go fast boot flash recovery, and the name of the file that we want to flash it in, or the image file, twrp, and I'm gonna hit tab for the autocomplete because I know I only have one file that starts with twrp, and there it is, and then I'll hit enter, and it's done, and everything was okay, which is great. Okay, now after doing that, we finally just reboot into recovery mode, and I'm going to show you really quickly how to do that. Over here you have the arrows, and using the power button over here you can select what's going to happen. So I'm going to hit the arrows up, power off, recovery mode until I find recovery mode, and then I press the button here on the side and it goes into recovery mode. Alright, there we go. Now the next step is to install LineageOS, and I'm also gonna install Google Apps because I'm not ready to go Google as a full-time on my Android device. First, download LineageOS from the website, and that's quite simple. Right here you have the link to download it, and there will also be several different versions. The latest one is being published on December 27th, so super recently, which is incredible. You go ahead and download that. The other thing that I recommend you download if you want to have Google Apps like me, because this needs to be done on the same step, is open and download the Google Apps page. So the thing is, you have a few different versions of Google Apps, which in this case has been done specifically to install in Android devices that don't have Google Apps. So you have the version for Lineage 13, which is Android 6, and the version for Lineage 14.1, so Android 7.1, which is what I want. Then you also need to note what platform your device is running. So for example, here you have ARM64, 86, and 8664. So if you remember from the page for your device, which I think I've closed it, under here, when you're looking at the specifications, you will see architecture. In my case, is ARM. So when I'm looking at Open GApps, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for an ARM. Which Android version? We saw it already here that for my device, I'm downloading for Lineage 14.1, Android 7.1. So that's that. And then the variants. Now there's many versions of Open GApps, and each one of them has it's more stripped down version, or has a few more apps. So for example, the micro variant of OpenGApps has Gmail, Calendar, Google Now Plus, Extra, and yada yada yada. They also go up in size. So when I click here, you can see I'm downloading a file that's 217 megabytes. Here I'm downloading a file that's 178. So I'm gonna stick down with Nano. Now they all come with Google Play, so that means that once you install it, you can install anything else you want on top of it. So I'm just gonna start with Nano and then install the Google apps that I want. Cool. So you click there and then you download. Alright, it's almost downloading. I just wanted to show you something. If you're wondering which one you want to choose between the Nano, Micro, Mini, or full version of OpenGApps, there's actually a table that compares them. If you go to their GitHub page over here at the bottom, on the top, sorry, there'll be a link to their wiki page. You can click onto, and then right here there are all the variants, and there's a link to a package comparison. And then you have a really nice table that lays out the super, stock, full, mini, micro. And for example, the nano is not here, but you can go onto the nano version. You can click on the nano link here on the right, and it'll tell you what it has. Then you can do the same for the Pico. Alright, it's done downloading. It's great. I'll go back to the Google, the OpenGApps page on the LineageOS wiki, and there are installation instructions, which is great. So I'm just gonna go to the folder where it's been installed over here, and you see that I had two. Let me do a refresh. And you see that I had two. One was published on December 24th and one on December 30th, which is awesome. I just want to keep that one. So if you follow the instructions, we want to push it to the SD card. And there's different ways to do that. We can use the ADB push file command, or we can just do it through my Windows Explorer type thing, which is Nautilus in this case. So I'm actually just gonna copy. My Nexus is connected here. I'm already in the internal storage. So let's see, I'm gonna go into downloads and I'm gonna put it there. Paste. Then I have the progress over here. There, it's done. Cool. So now I have OpenGApps inside, and we're gonna do the same thing for LineageOS. So let's see. We had all the list of the different ones here. The latest one was from December 27th, which I believe is what I have here in my downloads folder. Lineage December. Oh no, there's a newer one. All right. Alright then I'm gonna download the latest one. So it's done downloading. That's great. And I'm gonna do exactly the same thing that I did with the OpenGApps. I'm gonna put it inside my Android device. So let's see. Let me just do a refresh here for my downloads. Cool. So I have the version that I downloaded, the December 20th version, and I have the December 27th. So I'm going to copy that, go inside my device, put it inside downloads to be consistent, paste. It's going to take a little bit of time. And then we can just go back to the instructions over here. So let's see. Once it's in there, we go back into recovery mode, which my phone is already at. Then you want to select backup to create a backup of your phone. I've never done it before, but it's recommended, so I'm gonna do it. Let's see. So let's go to the next instructions. So we want to go select wipe, advance, then we want to do wipe of cache, system, and data. Then we're gonna swipe to wipe, and let's see what happens. So let's go wipe, advanced, we want to do cache, system, and data. Cache, system, and data. Alright, and we're gonna swipe to wipe. Alright, it's done. Cool. So let's keep following the instructions here. Go back and then select install. So we want to go install, select the Lineage zip file, and I'm not gonna do a signature verification. It's probably a good idea to do it, and I don't want to reboot it. So let's just go ahead and zip it. Alright, so it's almost done. Done. Awesome. Beautiful. Now, I don't want to reboot it, so I'm just gonna go back because like we see it here in the LineageOS wiki page, it's telling us that we want to install OpenGApps before the first boot. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. So I'm just gonna do the exactly same install instructions, but instead of selecting the LineageOS zip, I'm gonna select the OpenGApp zip file. And that's it. I swipe to confirm. Alright, so it's done. And now if we keep following the instructions on the website, we could, if we wanted, root the phone over here. It is optional. I'm actually not going to root my phone right now. I'm going to root it if I need to, and it should be fairly easy. Again, we just follow the, we download the SU for the ARM architecture over here, and we follow exactly the same steps as before. I don't need to, so I'm not going to do it. Cool, and then we reboot, and that's it. So let's see. Cool, so I'm going to reboot system. So it's done initializing. So that's the screen you got, and basically it's a success. You can follow the steps and select the language. It's auto-detecting some of the stuff, and there you go. You got LineageOS. You can then check to make sure that Google Apps is installed, which is what I'm gonna do next. All right, so it's booted back up. I've unlocked it, and if we look back into the app list, you'll see the Google Play Store is there, which is amazing.